Oh no, I'm sorry, Sheldon. Okay. Hello, everybody. I just saw Sheldon's comment about his Cintiq is not working. Aw. I had the same trouble with Windows 10. If you call Cintiq, they're really good with their customer service and they actually walked me through it. So definitely give them a ring. And then, hello everyone. I hope that you have had a great last few days. I know it's been a long time since I did a stream, and I'm so very sorry. Hello Shane. Hi River Dragon. Guys, I love you all a ton, and I'm sorry that I've been gone and absent from Twitch. I had to do some think work in order to get my art book cover at least sketched out, and I needed to just clear my head. And then I took some study time on my new study book, which is this one. I'll get it out right here. The Framed Perspective. It is amazing. 5 stars so far for this book. I'm so happy. Hi Gabriel. Hi Dawn. Oh, it's Amy. Hi Amy. Hi Kara. Hi Cortron. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm sorry that it's been a long time since I've done any streaming, but we are changing that now. And I have some more time at home, which is good. I need to get some art done, seriously. And so I'm just trying to get all of my camera and everything in the right angle. And I've had it all pushed away from my desk, so I apologize if anything's a little wonky right now. Yeah, it's hard sometimes, Shane, to stream while thinking because I'm kind of not fully focused, but maybe at some point I will. Hello, Scott. Thank you so much for the video you posted on Boop. That was so awesome. I'm so excited to be at the show in Tucson. It's going to be so awesome. Yeah, Mike Turner was my favorite too, River Dragon. I'm with you there. And I have my copy of the trade, the Witchblade trade. And there's something with it though. It's a lot of the pages have fallen out of the binding. So it's not in the perfect order at all. And then one of the pages that I was looking at as far as reference for her dress is completely out of the book. So I need to get that. It's over here. Hello, Keeman. Yay, Witchblade. Yeah, I'm really excited. Hi, Arrow. Welcome to the stream. I'm back. Yay. All right. So what I did this morning, and I will walk you guys through this. See, it's all the pages are falling out. It's a huge bummer. I just probably need to buy a new one. But literally, I've had this for a fair few years, and it started busting the moment I opened it up and cracked the binding. So I'm super sad about that. Yeah, the binding's pretty bad. But the book itself is amazing, so no complaints. Hey, Wendy. Hi, Abomine. Well, my perspective is going so far as I've read the first 20 pages. And so what I'm doing is, on this one, I'm putting to use what I've learned so far in the first 20 pages. Some of it is a little simpler still than what I can do, but I want to make sure I really solidify these things in my head, so I'm going to be using everything. Hopefully, that's my plan. No, I haven't had a chance to get to an art store yet, Kevin, but I will. All right, so I'm going to turn on my light table so hopefully you guys can see, and turn off some of the lamps. That I have some perspective in there already and some background. I don't know if you guys can see this. You can see it really, really lightly. So what I've done is I've given it a tile floor and an archway. I sent my rough layout to Harv, who this commission is for, and I'd imagine he'll be on the stream at some point, and just kind of showed him where I was going. And I had put too much background, and what he had requested was a sketched background. So very sketchy and rough. So I will be simplifying some of the background, but still, just for shits and giggles, I wanted to have all the perspective lines in and all the grid in there just to practice what I've learned so far. Okay, and then, so I do have quite a bit of the background in, and I just spent a few minutes sketching her out. I have never drawn Witchblade before, and it's one thing to be very familiar with the character just by reading the books and seeing the art and all of that stuff, but it's very different to actually start drawing it, and that I've never done. So I do have the Witchblade comic here to kind of see how the Witchblade is on her hand specifically, because I know that there's these specific, like, energy circles or whatever these are, and they're always in the same place pretty much on her hand. So I want to make sure I get that right. It seems to be that in general on the rest of her outfit, it's kind of artist's choice somewhat, you know, where exactly everything is placed on the rest of the piece of her armor or the Witchblade that is her suit. But still, I will be referring to this just to make sure I don't go too far into my own direction and then it looks nothing like Witchblade. That would suck. Hi, Kylie. Less is more on the armor. Yeah, also I'm drawing this at half size. So in the end, this is going to be a upright 11 by 17. In order to get the perspective and in order to get my sketch down, I have drawn it landscape because I usually draw the sketch of a large scale commission at 8.5 by 11. So I'm giving the extra space on either side so that I can get the perspective lines in, and I had to go off the page. So as you can see, here's some tape because the line actually connected way over here on this side and way over here on the other side. So those are the extensions for the paper so that I could get the perspective in correctly. Okay, so I'm just going to be sketching away and working on her outfit right now. The commission, this one specifically, is that she's still in a ball gown, but it's tearing and the Witchblade is coming through. So I'll show you guys the ball gown that she was in. So this is the page. I apologize again, the binding is falling apart. But this is the page with her in her ball gown. And so she's in some sort of building, some fancy ballroom kind of building. Anyway, so this is the dress. I may make adjustments to the dress just to kind of make it my own. But for the most part, this is what it is. And my plan for this one is to use the tonal paper so that the background can be really sketchy and I can bring out pops of white in the background to make it have highlights and stuff. Yes, so she's still transforming. Yeah, there's a lot of different perspective tools. Photoshop has some, Procreate has them. I just wanted to be able to do them without those. And there's nothing wrong with using any of those tools. They're awesome. I just personally felt like I needed to have a better understanding before I went further. I have been using those for a long time. So it's not that I'm dissing them in any way. I just felt that it was a weakness for myself. It's not something that's been pointed out to me or like, Dawn, you're not going to get X job because we feel that your perspective blows. I haven't heard anything like that. It's just something in myself that I feel I need to improve in, if that makes sense. Hello, Mike. Okay, so it's just going to be lots of noodling out details, which is fun, but still, I hope that you guys can find this interesting in some way. So I want one hand up, and that one is kind of forming the claw because it's the Witchblade. And then on the other one, it'll be somewhat forming but incomplete. So the whole thing is going to be in the process of transformation. And that's why her face, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with her expression. But at the same time, it's a commission, and I don't really want to give Harv a real fierce, angry-looking face for him to put on his wall, unless in the end that's what he wants. Oh, thank you, Jason. Thank you, Sheldon. You are so kind. No one has said anything that has made me make this decision to work on my perspective. It's just a personal decision. Harv is here. Hello, Harv. So everybody, this sketch is for Harv NYC, who's right there. I'm so glad he's made it to the stream. Yay! Oh, hello, Chicken Heed. Hey, Lino. So I want to show the Witchblade going up her neck a little bit. And then in typical Mike Turner fashion, I will have a lot of hair flowing around, since that is a very Witchblade trait, is to have just a bunch of hair swirling all over the place. And her hair is really long, so that's going to make it super fun to play with. And to get the cover weighted nicely, I'm going to have a big shoulder plate of armor on this side, and then a smaller one on this side, because she has the Witchblade hand on the other side. Hey, DK Mars. Hey, Tyler. Oh, Arrow and Sheldon, thank you both so very much for your kind comments. That means a ton. All right, so I want this shoulder coming down a little bit more, because it's coming toward us. And then there's the bend in her arm, as you guys can see right here. Right now I'm toggling between a 0.3 millimeter HB lead and a 0.5 millimeter 2B lead. And the reason why I'm switching between the two is so that I can have a darker pencil as well on anything that I decide to keep. True. I am a DC woman right now. I love those guys. Yes, rest in peace, Michael Turner. He was just gone way too soon. So I forgot my kneaded eraser when I went to Vancouver, Fan Expo Vancouver, and I realized I'm a little handicapped without this guy. I really, really miss this guy when I don't have him. I just lightening up the pencils to get my cleaner lines on there, and trying to work without it is really irritating. So I'm going to start keeping a backup of these in my suitcase just in case I forget again, because that really sucked. Oh, hey, Adam. I'm so glad you made it. Okay, so I'm gonna make mostly this side of her body with it all torn, and I do want the dress to connect in some ways so that we still have a bit of the flow of the skirt down at the bottom. And Harv and I talked about this, and I'm really excited, though I do need to go to an art store tomorrow to buy the paper. So that is one thing that needs to happen. In order for me to blow this up and draw it full size and start doing the transfer, I need to go buy some stuff. But I'm going to be doing her white gown on tonal paper, and I'm still deciding. I'm leaning more towards the gray tonal paper as opposed to like the skin tone paper, because I think that'll go better with like the green hue of her Witchblade. But either way, both of those are so nice for putting white on top. And I think because her gown is white, doing all the tears and rips and details and everything like that with white on tonal paper is gonna look so awesome. So I'm really excited about that. Hey, Tranquil Mist. So I have her body drawn in, and that is the most important part, though I am going to fix her foot a little bit. I'm not liking how that looked. We may or may not see this foot. That's still to be determined depending on how much dress I draw. But let me see if I can show you guys the feet. All right, so this is kind of the back of her knee. Of course, we're not seeing all of it. And then this is her calf, and then her foot. And I want to be seeing it semi from the front. So we're only going to see a little tiny bit of her heel. This is ankle right here. And generally I just draw the foot like this. So this foot is kind of on its tippy toes. Well, not completely, but you know, a little bit. Now we won't be seeing all of this on her feet. Like maybe this foot is going to be the full Witchblade thing, like the boot basically. And then on this side, I may still have her in her heels. Like that. Yes, tone paper and white magic. It's been years. Like I got really into tone paper for a little while. I think it was like in 2013. I was really into tonal paper. And then I kind of just forgot about it or stopped using it for some reason. And I'd really like to pick it back up again because I've seen like Mike Chrome, for instance, he's used tonal paper, and A, it looks so cool, and B, it doesn't necessarily take as long because you can do a lot of, like the midtones are already there. But I feel like it looks like you spent way longer on it because the white can pop out so much and it just looks so vibrant. And It's amazing. So I really like it. Mark Brooks uses a lot of tonal paper. Mike Crome uses a lot of tonal paper. And I think I'm going to just go ahead and jump on that bandwagon. Well, I would be so lucky to get to work for Marvel Arrow. I wish. Okay. So here, whoops, wrong pen. Like I said, I'm toggling between HB and 2B and 0.3 millimeter and 0.5 millimeter. Now there's a little bit of a dip. I don't know if this is how it is with everybody, but like my collarbones, you can see them sticking out over here. My mom says that I look like a coat hanger. And but it helps to remember the collarbone does sit on top of the shoulder. And then there's kind of this whole trap area, which on a woman doesn't stick up this way. Like on Batman, it would stick up like this. On a woman, it's concave the other way, right? So kind of just do that to connect the shoulders. And then here's the shoulder blade, and it goes to the top and sits on the top of the shoulder. That was so funny when Deadpool said that. I lolled so hard. Yeah, it's been a long, long time since I have worked on tonal paper, and I am so excited. And I got myself my Reese's Peanut Butter Cup coffee or hot chocolate, but you know what? My taste sense or spidey sense is telling me that they did not put Reese's Peanut Butter Cup in the little like dispenser thingy that it's supposed to be in, because this does not taste like Reese's Peanut Butter Cup at all. And I feel a little bit robbed of my 50 cents. No, you know what it is? I really don't care about the 50 cents. Obviously, it's 50 cents. But if I decide with much thought and care if I'm going to allocate that many calories to a cup of hot chocolate, it better damn be the right one. Well, this is hot chocolate, Sheldon. It's supposed to be Reese's Peanut Butter Cup hot chocolate. What is happening? Right? I feel so cheated. If you're right, Kylie, okay, you know my thing. Yes, 50 cents is 50 cents. But calories, my friend, are a whole other situation. And even just the junk that I'm sure is in this, and the general just lack of health that I've decided to dive for wholeheartedly, and it's the wrong stuff. It's just really bums me out. I'm still gonna drink it though, because it's sugary and yummy. Okay, I am happy with her body. I've been looking at a lot of anime game art, and I'm kind of inspired by their hips, and I think I'm gonna start trying it sometimes, and I really love
now there's a quotable quote.
Inspired by their hips.
I too have been looking at a lot of anime art.
That would be Dan, everyone. Well, it's still gonna be my style with just a little bit more, that infusion. Dan, people are saying hi.
Hey, everybody.
He says hi. I used to draw anime a ton as a kid. And you know what? I know you guys make fun of me for how I say anime, but I checked with some guys that are from Japan how to say it. And I grew up in Japan, and I totally have always said anime. And then here in North America, everyone says anime. But no, it's anime. I checked. Yes, Dan is here. Anime. Anime. Okay, Harv, I have a question for you. This is how the dress is in the comic book. Are you wanting me to stick with this dress or kind of wing it a little bit? Hooked on phonics, that's right. I use that with all my kids. Wing it, wing it. Okay, winging it is. Whoop, whoop. Nothing against that dress. When I first saw this dress, I don't know, I was in my late teens and I was just like, holy shit, that's so cool. So, nothing against the dress. Okay, unique look, not a carbon copy. You got it, Harv. Whoop! I'm so excited. Okay, I do really like the way that they have this thing right here. How it comes to a point right here and then goes up her neck and down her shoulders. I do really like that design. So I am going to incorporate that into I'm going to incorporate that into the whole chest area on her dress because I love it. Professionally winging it. That's right, Kylie. I wore the shirt on a day you weren't on the stream and now it's cold. But maybe I'll like wear a jacket or something with the shirt there as well. I need to get the shirt out again. Oh, okay. Now for the record, I'm so glad that you like the Catwoman dress. I didn't design that dress. I followed the design that was sent to me by DC. I love the design of that dress. It was created by Joelle Jones. Still though, if you like that kind of look where it's more embroidered and stuff, that's gonna be epic on the tonal paper. Like I can go to town on a dress like that with the tonal paper. So yes, I'm so happy, Harv. Yay! Oh, yes, I really need to stream more. It's 100% my fault. I know I do have access to the affiliate program. I just didn't really find it worth it for me to do yet. But partnership program, yes, I would definitely take that. It's at 112,000. Woohoo! Go Brian! No, that's awesome, Kylie. So I have been going through Gotham again because it was, I haven't watched it since last year because I caught up and then just sort of lost track of it again. So I have just been loving it. I am fully engrossed in Gotham now. And it's amazing. Oh, sorry about that. About the jeweled edition. Oh, thank you so much, Zingaza. That is so nice of you. Self-taught and still learning. This is my next study book, and it is awesome. You get your art in the stretch goals? Yay, that's awesome. Yeah, me too. Oh, Decaying Winter, thank you so much for following me. I really appreciate it. And that looks so much like Sherlock. It's crazy. You just binge watched Ozark. Okay. Do you like it? I started watching it and it was a little bit too tense for me. I couldn't take it. That's amazing. Oh, thank you so much, Decaying Winter. I really, really appreciate it. All follows are awesome. And thank you for following me on Instagram. Yay. Sherlock fighting Thanos. That's hilarious. Zingaza, yes, my preference and my comfort zone is traditional. Digital, I do digital colors on my cover work, but it's drawn traditionally. As far as digital drawing, I'm a fail. No can do. I can make adjustments like enlarge a head or fix something, but as far as actual arting digitally, I have not managed to make that leap. Oh, well, thank you, Tranquil. That's so nice of you. Enjoy the fish and chips. So some of this I'm going to make the Witchblade, and other bits are going to be like torn up dress. So I'm going to start putting in dress for to tear. So I want parts of the Witchblade to be over the dress, parts of it to be under the dress and poking out. Like, I really want to just go like rip crazy. That is so awesome, Scott. Thank you so much for telling me. Payback Ivy, hello. yeah, so I'm gonna make a lot of this the lace and torn dress. So let's get some lace going on in here. And this side will have some of the Witchblade coming in. And then, excuse me, and then some of it's going to be the dress still. Just give the dress a little tear right there. And some more lace pattern. And I'm going to do all the lace pattern with like the Copic Opaque white, and I'm going to paint it on. Or use the Sakura Jelly Roll pens. But between the two of those is how I'll get all the lace details going on. Oh, thank you, Tanis. You gotta save the panty line. Yeah, for now anyway, because at least it helps me see where the body is. But in the end, I'm probably gonna have most of the panty line and this whole section covered up. Because I'm thinking the skirt is gonna go this way and cover up most of this side of her dress and feet. So there's going to be like rips and tears. And the reason why I fully drew the leg is because I need to be able to see it. And it needs to have continuity going through even when the dress is covering it and then tear, cover, tear. The dress needs to look like it's all, the leg needs to look like it's all one piece. Oh, you're welcome, Kevin. It was really good. Oh, don't bring me one in the morning. I can't drink and draw. But that is so nice of you. I do love them, and you have such a good memory for remembering that. That's a like with dinner thing. Thank you, Kylie. I'm so glad you could make it. Yeah, Flames are playing. I am not necessarily a Flames fan. I like them because they're from Calgary and I'm from Calgary, but I'm a Nucks fan. If I were any kind of fan, I've sort of dropped off on hockey a little bit. Oh, that is great, Kevin. Okay, so open hand is generally a little less aggressive, right? If you make a fist, it's a little more power pose, even though she isn't necessarily standing in a power pose. So I'm going back and forth and trying to decide. And it's just how much of a, I'm going to focus on the claw and kind of do the opposites with the claw and the dainty, or I will go full claw and fist, and I'm still going back and forth on those in my mind. Yeah, Kylie, I feel like I liked it like a couple times. It's super cool. I love it. Oh, thank you, Harv. You are so awesome. Yes, the armor on her left leg is ripping the dress as well. So it's kind of be cut open. So I've got a few little strands and bits of the dress coming down like this because I want them to be blowing and then also having like frayed bits at the end and stuff. And it's a long skirt, so it's going to kind of be sitting out all around behind her, all shredded and scratched up, which is going to be really fun. Yes, Philip, I am really, really excited about Tucson. Vancouver Fan Expo was crazy awesome. Okay, I need to see how this is on her knee. Okay, so I'm looking at this side profile one just to get an idea of how it sits over her thigh and connects to her leg. No, sorry, Scott. Well, at least you weren't in Vancouver. I really love the sort of organic metallic look that Top Cow artists are able to pull off. I think it's so badass looking, and makes me just wish I had gotten into comics years ago and learned under Silvestri and all that. It would be awesome. Oh, I'm glad to hear Vancouver's doing well. I have not been keeping up with them at all. Oh yeah, I do, because I want to draw the Witchblade correctly and not just kind of wing it. I've never drawn it before. And I don't want to like draw the boots wrong or something. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. It's a little bit more just like an illusion. It's alluded to in places how it sits on the body, and that's about as far of the help that I want to make sure it's done correctly. Oh, yay, Mike. That's awesome. All right, so now I'm gonna start getting some of the sketch for the background in. Hopefully you guys can see this. If not, maybe I'll turn off this light. Oh, the Sherlock stand-in, yikes! She's in Vienna's room right now. They need to go get her. So I'll show you guys what I did in a couple minutes. But for now, I'm just gonna get the basics in right now for the background, and then I'll take this away, and you guys can see the grid that I put in. Oh, I guess you can see the grid. So yeah, this is what I put in for the background. Yay. All right, so what I did is I read the instructions of how to set up a perspective and how to do a tile floor. This one is very much a one-point perspective tile floor. And I will move on to doing more complicated ones later, but I wanted to make sure that I have the basics down for this, especially because this is going to be a sketchy background. It's not going to be completely filled in. I'm mostly just going to allude to the floor and allude to the pillars and all of that that's going on. All right, I'm turning off the background for a little while so that I can keep working on the dress, but I mostly wanted to show that to you guys. And also having the floor perspective in really does help as far as, it helps as far as the perspective of the gown and how it flows and hits the floor. And so technically that's why I turned on the perspective, so that I could get that in correctly. Yes, I used my light box to make the background visible. So I'm just refining and darkening some of the lines. I knew that this one would be kind of tricky for me, detail-wise, to get it right and not it turn into such a gigantic mess. But at least I have my kneaded eraser with me so I can clean as I go because I hate working in a giant mess. So this is just from looking at the Witchblade and how it's drawn by Turner. Even if there is a smooth straight line, it's not actually smooth. It's very jagged, and he cuts into his lines a lot. So I'm going to try to do that as well so that it doesn't end up looking too soft and like little bits of ribbon on her or something like that. It needs to have a very different texture from the tears in the cloth, etc. Do a few more pieces, cutting out and going over her arms and stuff, but it's not going to be fully coming through as the complete Witchblade. It's still in the process on this arm. It's just actually it's in the process on both arms. It's just certain things have formed and certain things haven't formed yet, just to give it a little bit more of a different look between the two sides as opposed to making them completely the same. Okay, 70s and 80s. I need to look up how much that is in centigrade, but yeah, that sounds great. And thank you, Philip. Hey, Steve. All right, I just need to see the floor. Make sure I get this right. Okay, so this is the line. I would imagine her dress goes all the way to about back there and fills these boxes. Just got a little bit of the floor in there to make sure her dress works. You didn't think it was that complex, Harv? Oh, that's so sweet of you, Kylie. Thank you. Okay, I'm just lightening up the leg. I still know where the foot is. I know where her leg is. There's enough lines in here that I can see all of it, but I mostly just want to have some basic ideas of where her legs are, and now I want to get the dress going on. Yes, no, I agree with you, Steve. It's a lot more complex than Batman. I want to turn her leg further behind even. So this is where we're seeing the inside in the back of her dress, kind of like if someone's got a dress with a long train and she picks up the front of it, can style, you would see the dress laying on the ground back here. So that's why I've got us seeing some of the portions of what would be behind her. Get a few little strands of the dress going that way. All right. in order to bend her knee further behind her like this, I'm gonna have to take this leg and move it more right towards the center. So the leg, I had it outward a little bit. See, it's not completely under her head, so it's not necessarily carrying all of her weight. It was sharing the weight with this other back foot. But now that I'm seeing her thigh and the way her leg is bent with the dress covering it, I don't know. I feel like her knee and everything needs to be brought closer to the other leg. So the way that I'm going to do that is when I'm done with this sketch, I'm going to pull it into Photoshop, take this whole leg and rotate it. So her hip is going to stay in the same place, but the center of gravity is going to change to being right here, so that this leg is clearly the weight-bearing leg on her body, and this one can kind of be tippy-toe and a little bit behind. I think it'll look a little more feminine. So I'll be fixing that, but I don't need to do that until I can use my digital cheats, which is where I use digital to help me and expedite the process of traditional. Because, as you guys have seen, there's a lot of detail on this leg. Of course, I could rotate it, erase it, redo it. Not worth the time. I'll fix it on the computer. And then I'm printing it out at 11 by 17 size, which is basically more than twice the size of what I'm working on right now. Yeah, exactly. I missed the Hell Witch party. Weep. I rewatched some of it later, but I missed it when it was live, which really sucks. So I hope everyone that's on here is on my email list, because November is coming, just like winter is coming. November is coming, you guys. And Dan and I had a meeting yesterday morning, planning and talking all about Christmas and November. So definitely keep an eye out, you guys. And if you aren't on my email list, now's a good time to get on. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little note, move foot. I'm going to change the center of gravity. So here is where her hip bone is, and I'm going to move it to being right here. And that is going to make her weight bearing a lot more on this front forward foot. I don't know what's wrong with me, I'm tired. I'm not sure exactly how that works, Mike. I suppose so. Right, I want little strands and stuff hanging out all over the place, because if her dress was tearing, it wouldn't all tear perfectly. It would tear very randomly. Ooh, and you know what would be fun? To make the lace kind of in keeping with the way that the Witchblade is. So not in the same design as the Witchblade, but the pattern of the lacing and where it falls on the body is kind of the same patterning as the Witchblade. I'll show you. So have the lace going all the way down the sides, just like the Witchblade does. And so it'll kind of look like she's in the armor, but she's also in the lace. And I'm not trying to like ruin the way that the actual Witchblade is. It's just to give that continuity and the illusion of the Witchblade even where she has the dress. Oh, that's so fun, Wayne. That sounds awesome. So, see, I started mapping out where the Witchblade would follow or would sit on her torso. So in some of these cases, I'm going to just make it straight up like satin or white cloth here. In other places, you'll see skin. But then this whole area is either lace or it's the Witchblade. But at least it's flowing in the same spot. Now, I know I've got detail going all over the place. I will need to cut it back because, of course, this is over full, but that's because you're seeing my sketch lines and everything all in the same place. But I will clean this up. This is like a disaster. It won't stay that way. I'm going to use Copics on gray tonal Strathmore paper. Fingers crossed. I need to go buy some tomorrow, so I'm really hoping I can find some. And then I'm gonna do the dress is gonna be all done in white. So I can do a mixture of like a light watercolor wash mixed with like Copic opaque white, colored pencil, well, white colored pencil, and then some of the jelly rolls. And I think it'll really pop on tonal paper. And then the tonal paper will work really well as an enhancement for this sort of grayish army green that is the Witchblade. So all together, I'm hoping that everything is just going to mesh together and look really nice. And then on the background, it'll help because the background I'm going to be keeping sketchy. Like the whole plan is the Take On Me music video, which is Harv's idea. And I'm going to be making it look quite sketchy. It won't be inked or colored or anything like that, but I can use the white in there as well to make it look soft and glowy and like really push it into the background. So those are my thoughts. Oh yes, the gray tone is just to make the white pop. I'm going to be putting skin tone. I'm going to be doing all of that. But what I will do, guys, is I'm going to buy gray tone and sepia toned paper, and I'm going to test it with all the colors before I decide which one to use, and I will choose the one that looks the best for Witchblade. And then, you know, I have an extra pad of paper to use for other commissions. Oh, thank you so much, Piglets Land. Well, this sketch is probably going to remain almost as it is now. I'm going to make it on a full page for and final art for Harv. And I'm glad that you like it as it is, but this kind of mess drives me a little bit batty. Thank you, Gabriel. right. I've got a bit more detail in. Now I'm going to do some kneaded eraser time and refine. Oh, thank you, Piglet's Last Stand. You hope I get my sub. I don't know, Zarander. I haven't really decided if I'm going to do subscribe here. My subscribers button. I have an email list. I have a website. I haven't really thought about doing anything like that here on Twitch. I know that sounds weird. Oh, the new book is going great. I can show you guys. These are some of my layouts and sketches for the Witchblade and a few different poses I was going through. And then this is kind of the idea that I had. So I drew a few different layouts. Guys, I'm mad telling you stuff that I haven't even quite planned out myself. But my thought is this, and I still need to talk to the the printers to see if this will even work. But I'm thinking to do this cover. And as you can see, the front will be all colored digitally and the back will be colored traditionally, and it's a split face. So that is my plan because, you know, I was reading all the elements that make for a good cover and all of that stuff. One of the things was some of the ideas that I had were kind of not in keeping with my art. What is true to what the contents of the book are, you know, and that's not necessarily something I'd ever thought about. I always thought about, well, this is my chance to draw whatever I want. When really I want to make it clear what people are going to get. Now, my work is part traditional, part digital. So I thought to make split face. So the front of the cover, since primarily all of my printed covers and stuff like that are digitally colored, I'll do the front digitally colored, half face, and then the back, this is my my swatch. I just did this with Copic colors of sort of the color tone and the mood I want to have for the back of the cover, and kind of go a little bit more dark and moody and traditional with watercolor and ink and splatter, but it's the same face, it's just the other side of it. And then I have some other thoughts which I will keep tucked under my sleeve for the rest of it. But yes, that's where I'm going. I just need to talk with the printer and see if that's going to work on a hardback. Because really the way that a hardback book works, let me get one so I can show you guys, is this whole thing is one big piece of paper. And they fold it over it, think like wrapping a present. They fold it over the whole thing, and then this white piece of paper is glued on top of it. So I need to find out if I can actually get a face put on here without, like, what's gonna happen? How do I set this up so that it's not like half the face is missing or it's in the wrong spot? So those are the things I need to work on before I start drawing it. But I plan to start drawing it and working on it next week, you guys. So I will keep in touch with you. I'm waiting to hear back from my printer. I want to do lots of fun things with the book and foils or something. So I'm still waiting to hear back. But anyway, I'm super excited. I hope that this works because it would be awesome. Oh, thank you, Keeman. I'm glad you guys like it. I really, really hope it works out. I'm thinking, though, the one thing is I'm probably going to have the face cut off here if I have to. So, like, the face would be here on this side and here on the other side. So you can kind of put two books. I think I have another book right here. If I do, that would be awesome. Ugh, I don't. Anyway. You could put both faces side to side if you took the front of one book and the back of the other, and you could see the difference between the two. But anyway, if I were to put the face here, there is the binding and things like that I have to think about, is you don't want it all dimpled and strange right there. So I'm going to talk to the printer. all that to say. Oh, thank you so much, Piglet's Last Stand. Okay, so this is really my favorite way to work. I love working with the kneaded eraser and just doing a lightening. So I'm going over it and just rolling it like a little sausage all over the work. It lightens my lines up so that now I can cull out the information that I want to keep. And once I've refined this, then I'll just put in the background and I'm done early because I can't transfer this to board today until I buy paper. So I'm a little stuck until then, but I can just start working on something else after I'm done with this cleanup part. Yeah, right? This eraser is amazing. Well, not quite, though that's a good idea, Wayne, to actually put that in the book somewhere as a complete image. But right now, no, my thought is literally it's just on one side, and then, so say the face, half the face is here, and the other half of the face is here. So the book would be exactly the same, but just half the face, and then you'd have to flip it over to see the other half of the face. Front is colored digitally, back is colored traditionally. And so you're kind of getting the two sides of an artist. This one will be more light and bright and sweet, and the other side will be a little bit more red and gloomy and dark. And it's just kind of left side, right side brain, you know, the two sides of being an artist or a creative individual, and then also the two mediums that I work in, if that makes sense. Yes, that's right. Have yourself, oh, I missed the end of what the have yourself something. I missed it. It was just disappearing from my screen, but thank you so much for following me. I really appreciate it. All right, let's refine this a little bit. I'm gonna move the foot digitally because time savers are awesome. Yes, Piglet's Last Stand. Just lots of drawing. That's right, yes. But I am not going to do black hair if I can help it. Well, maybe on the back, just because I'm going to be layering so many colors, I might need to do black for the hair. But the front is not going to have black hair because, so help me God, I won't be told it looks like me. Okay, so now it is refining the lines a little bit, and this I'm just going to wing and go pretty fast with because, again, I don't need to spend a ton of time on this. I'm going to be transferring it to board and inking it on another piece of paper. So I am going to rework all of this to some extent later on, but I did want to show you guys the sketch process. You can see my giant disaster, and then if I'm done early, I'll move on to a commission or something like that. Yeah, I do not cosplay. It takes me so long to get ready to get to a show. on time. I have to get up so early. There's just no way I could add in another complexity. All right, so what I'm doing is my usual little thing where I do have a little bit of the body coming through, like dot to dot lines, so that you can still see her form underneath. Yeah, I cosplay myself. That's right. Yes, I dress up with the hair chains and the little feather hair clips and stuff like that. Oh, thank you, Harv. Oh, okay. Good night, Arrow. Have a good one. Oh, Luis Royo. Well, that's awesome, Piglet's last stand. That's a huge compliment. Thank you. I love Luis Royo's work. He is boss. Oh, see you later, Wayne. Have a good night. Okay, so the bend in her arm is right here. So I do want to make sure that that's left pretty clear, that it's the bend in her arm. Otherwise, it's a little unclear as to what is happening with this just random jutting hand. So that's why I do have the end of the arm piece is right here. And then you can see a bit of the bend in the arm. We'll make sure that there's still a little bit of shirt left right here. I want to have lots of little tears in her shirt. And then I'll add some lace onto this area as well. But it's going to be pretty ripped up right here, since obviously it would be getting shredded by the Witchblade that's on her hand. Okay, and then this is kind of her armpit going into her shoulder muscle. And I've got a little flap of cloth that's just kind of flowing down like this. And then there's a Witchblade piece coming right on top right here. So this is a Witchblade piece. And I'll, of course, need to differentiate between the two as I'm working to make sure that one looks a lot more jagged and sharp than the other. And I'll work on that once I have a little bit more space. This is quite small to be putting this much detail, because I'm putting enough detail for once it's bigger, but I can't make it clean this tiny. This is half the size of what I'm going to be doing on the other piece of paper. Okay, and then, of course, there's her armpit, which goes into her bust, and then kind of behind it, you would see a little bit of the small of her back. Oh, thank you, Piglet's Last Stand. All right, let's give a nice big tear right there. Oh, thank you so much, Harv. So all of this little bits of detail that I'm going to be putting in black right now will all be done in white on the actual dress. Because it's all going to be in lace detailing. And that's what's kind of, it's quite fun about lace, that you can really just wing it and draw whatever you feel like doing, or kind of wherever the pen takes you, as long as it has a basic, floral form, or if you're trying to make it look a little bit more witchy, give it more of an angular dagger kind of form. But pretty much you can just smoosh pencil around and it looks fine. I guess also I've done enough lace over and over and over that I'll give you guys that. Maybe it's a little easier for me. Because I remember, if I stop and think back, when I first started doing a lot of lace drawing, it was quite a challenge. So I take that back. But that being said, I overthought it. Just don't overthink lace. So all this lace, like I said, is black line right now, but in the final piece, it's going to be white lace over skin tone. Yes, that's right. It has been practice. I've been scared of this one, Harv. I'm not going to lie. It was just like, oh, that's going to be tough. But now that I'm in it, I'm so excited. It's just the matter of like jumping in and getting going. And, it's always hard to start something. But I'm really excited. And thank you for trusting me with this one, Harv. Okay, so everyone, I am using a 0.5 millimeter 2B pencil right now. You were scared? Okay, we were both scared. The Forest Lord is downstairs cooking dinner. Today the kids have half-day school day. My oldest had a dentist appointment. My other two needed pickups and drop-offs. So I've been kind of getting a little bit of art done and running around doing pickups and drop-offs and taking people to the dentist. So I pretty much got home and got straight to drawing. So Dan is subbing in for me on dinner like a sweetheart. Yes, easier commissions equals earlier slot, though I am really trying to be completely fair. The only one that cut in line on Harv was the Edmonton Expo one, which was an Edmonton Expo pre-book. So Harv, I'm strictly staying to the list. The only people who jump in line are the people who I write about a specific Comic-Con. I'm really being a stickler about being fair here. And it was, so everyone is that is in my list. I'm going strictly in order. Yeah, I'm being a real stickler about it. I have to. The only people that can jump in line nowadays, and I have not always been good about this, Dan has whipped me into shape to really stay fair, is when I send around a list for a commission at a con. So those sketch emails that I'm sending out to you guys are the only ones. I'm not sure, Philip. It really depends. Well, I know, Harv, you've been a sweetheart, but I really want to finish this one up. Fingers crossed before December 1st when it is commission contest time. And then you get yours by Christmas. Because otherwise, I'm going to have to bump you all the way to January, and I don't want to do that to you. I would very much like to get this done in this calendar year. Yeah, Steve and Harv, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your patience. Guys, Steve R is the one who has Bombshell Harley Quinn, and Harv is the one that this one is for. Yes, commission contest for Christmas. Everybody be on your emails November 1st. Yeah, that one was Steve's. Oh, Kara, I'm glad you could make it for a few minutes. Thank you, love. All right, so there is such a thing as too much detail on something, and I don't want to go overkill on the lace. Nice, Gabriel. You know what, guys? I am so excited. When I'm done here, I might actually just check and see how late Michael stays up and how late they stay up, how late they stay open, and see if I can actually like run down there after the stream. You guys are great. Oh, thank you, Tanis. That is extremely handy. I will definitely be going down to Michael's then. Oh my god, that is so scary. Drop bears are a real thing, Kylie? They drop down from trees? Australia terrifies me sometimes. Jesus! You guys are hilarious. Is that for real, Kylie? I don't know when you're taking me for a dumb tourist or like it's actually true. Oh, okay. Thank you, Kylie. I'm gonna have to take a look at that, Kylie. awesome, Kylie. Thank you so much. I'll check it out. All right, I'm gonna get a little bit more Witchblade-y stuff going on that side. So has everybody decorated their houses for Halloween? I did a tiny little bit. Oh, you don't? Bummer. Oh, thank you, Harv. I'm so happy that you like it. Oh, that says you're cool, DK Mars. That's awesome. Honestly, I really struggle with finding Halloween decorations that I like. It's not very easy. All right, so like I told you guys, I am not leaving her leg where it is here. I'm gonna shift the center of gravity more towards the center and rotate her thigh. I'm so happy, Harv. Yay! You bought candy, but it's already been eaten. Yeah, we have the candy too, and I'm so tempted. But I will be good. Alright, so I'm gonna have a strand of her hair coming in the front. And then just a bunch of hair going all the way around. Swirly, swirly. I'm going to be moving a portion of her lower leg. So that will affect a little bit of where everything's going to go. But I'm going to be moving this leg to be further behind and I'm moving this leg and changing the center of the weight. That I'm going to do on the computer because it's easier that way. That's funny, Piglet's last stand. Thank you. Yeah, I know. It looks kind of like Sherlock, though, doesn't it? It's Hypno Sherlock. And whoever just followed me, thank you. I'm sorry for missing that. As you guys can see, it says move foot. I'm going to move the foot to right over there. But I can draw it all right now, and that saves me time. Yes, they are. It's really quite fun. When Dan found that one, I was just like, oh my god, we have a winner. That is too great. I just realized like a little while ago that I quite like fall. I guess I'm such a like doesn't stop to smell the roses kind of person, and I just like the other day was like, you know what? Actually, I quite like fall. That's so idiotic. Also because we barely get fall here in Calgary, so I haven't really given it much thought. It's more like, oh my god, here's the snow again. But yeah, fall is pretty much the perfect season. And we got fall back, which is amazing. I am so incredibly happy about the fact that we have fall again. Because the snow is almost completely melted. There's just like a few little pockets where there's a little bit of snow. And then we do need to do some serious raking because now the leaves have all fallen off the trees. Literally, when we got that giant dump of snow, half the trees were still green and covered in leaves. It was ridiculous. So now it's making the folds that are coming from the front of her dress come forward towards us, and then the other ones need to go back and away because they're behind her. Yeah, Mike, especially if you hate winter, that really sucks. Oh yeah, it's true. San Diego is all summer all the time pretty much, right? I guess everybody has some kind of random weather stuff, except for DK Mars, who pretty much has perfect weather all year round. Except I really like winter. I like snow. I like all 4 seasons clearly defined, you know? Calgary's a little winter heavy, but it's fine. But yeah, I'm a big all 4 seasons person. I don't like places that are completely warm all the time, but I am well aware of the fact that that is my opinion. I don't expect everyone else to agree with me. Yeah, the perfect weather gets old. Oh, it's true, Harv. Okay. I think I'm happy with the sketch. And I've decided for now to go with a fist. I'm not used to working with such soft lead, so I'm breaking it like crazy. I used to always work with a 2B, but I've kind of quit over the last little while, and I mostly work with HB, because 2B kind of, it's really easy to smudge all over your paper, and that drives me nuts, as you guys know. Oh, thank you, Kylie. All right, so now it's time to just put in a little hint of the background. I'm not gonna go crazy, but actually what I'll do is I'll show you guys what I did. Sorry, this thing is touch sensitive, so if I touch, it turns on the light table. Okay, here we go. Let me get, all right, so this is the piece of paper with the sketch of Witchblade on it. This is the perspective grid that I did. Okay, so I did the the horizon line is here, but I have made an imaginary floor line where I've pretty much cut the wall. So the wall ends here. So even though we're looking, eye level is here, the wall is down here, and as such, that's why I had to move and put tape on either side to actually get the perspective things for the tile floor. I had to get those in there, and I had to extend the paper, and I don't have a very long ruler because, as I've told you guys, rulers up until this point have been a massive source of discouragement, intimidation, all of that shit. So what I'm gonna do, what I've been using is just this guy because it was long enough. I will be getting myself some longer rulers because that is definitely needed. But yes, this is the tile floor. So of course it looks ridiculous and so full right now. But the thing that I was learning is, you know how you have a tile floor, and if you look at it like this, it's a checkerboard. But if you put it this way, well, obviously the checkers that are further away from you get smaller and smaller. But how do you figure out how they get smaller? So that's what I learned yesterday. Oh, see you later, DK Mars. I missed some. Okay, Harv. Well, I was still trying to understand it myself, if that makes sense, Shane. But I will more. Yes, perhaps a nice ruler. That's right. Keeman, I'm not entirely sure. Is it in Boop Squad? I'd have to go check again. Yeah, sliding T-square would be good. Okay, so this is what it is. And then she is standing in these two squares right in the foreground. Oh, maybe you guys didn't see that. All right. So here we go. She was standing in these two squares right here, or kind of maybe in this little tiny bit. So that's where she is. She's very much in the foreground. Everything else is dropping back behind her. Bear in mind, half of this you're not even going to see, but I had just read and learned about it. I'm going to use a little bit of these lines, not all of them, because one thing that can happen when you're doing a commission or even a cover is if you put too much background in when the job is to draw the person, not the city. Like, okay, if you're drawing Spider-Man, well, obviously you need to have New York City and Spider-Man swooshing through the air because that's his environment. That's what's needed. For a commission, it's almost overkill for me to put all of this information on the commission. It can almost ruin it. You know, it really depends. It's the perfect fine line of putting just enough but not too much. So that's why I did it on a separate piece of paper so that I can determine how much of this to actually use. But at least I know that the lines are in the right place, if that makes sense. And this is where I get to practice. This is where I get to like study and learn, but then I'm not going to hinder the piece by, straight up putting all that stuff on there because it's not necessary, and it's actually not always the best. Thank you. Yes, that's the reason why I had the other light on earlier, so that I could see the floor and everything that I had drawn in the background. Yeah. So now what I'll do is I'm gonna light box this in and just get a rough idea of where I'm gonna put everything around the Witchblade. But I'm very happy with how she looks and the rips and the tears, and there's so much detail going on in this. It's so much fun. And then, yeah, I'm just going to get a little bit of the background in there because, again, I don't want to ruin Harv's piece. Oh, okay. So I did give it a like. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't always remember exactly the name to the piece. But I will go in and recheck Boop. I try to every evening. Okay. Now I need to try to get her back in the right spot. I do have a rough sketch, a layout. Like I took the layout and just enlarged it. All right. I'm just going to turn this light off for a second, you guys, so that I can see. I don't need my head in your way. All right, there we go. I think that's in the right spot. I am so happy that you like it, Harv. That is the best news ever. Thank you, supportive Spud. Yeah, that is amazing, Kara. Well done. It was the flash portrait drawing, right? I already followed the perspective lines for all of this, which makes it so much easier. I don't have to worry about it anymore. All right, well, my light table is as bright as it can be because I've got a few different pieces of paper under there. All right, so this is where this is the same line. So I'm following, I have the pillar is in the exact same perspective square as the other side. So because I'm trying to make this a round pillar, I'm going to draw out the entire thing just so that I know where everything should start and finish. There we go. Obviously, the whole pillar is not going to be in there, but I just am making sure that it fits within the square and everything is even and it's exactly in the same spot as the one on the other side because I am making these two pillars parallel with one another. Oh, that's so awesome, Piglet's Last Stand. Thank you. No, thank you, Philip. All right, well, I am almost done. This actually went faster than I was anticipating, which is great because then I have enough time, hopefully, to go take a mad dash to Michael's so I can get going on this maybe even tonight. I'll have to see. It really depends on what else the family is planning, but it would be pretty freaking cool. So this is kind of, I don't know if you guys can see these lines, but I do have a darker outline, and that is a indication of where the 11 by 17 paper cuts off, because I keep a template on my computer. So I know that the 11 by 17 paper cuts off on this side right here and on this side over here. So it's not like we're going to even see all the background, all the pillar or anything like that. We're just going to see some of it. It's just enough to fill the sides because I'm doing a full body character all the way to the feet. And that means that there's going to be a lot of extra space running around. If I do this and I fill the space with some background, of course it helps. It makes the picture look a little better too. So I'm very happy with that. Yes, it helps frame it. That's exactly what I was trying to say, and I spent like 10 minutes doing it. Thank you, Harv. I appreciate your English help. Sometimes, man, they really fail. Not sure about some of my lines here. All right, and then I want to have just really nice, light and airy looking cloth, like a curtain going in the background here. So it's actually behind the pillars. I want to keep the pillars in the foreground. I think they have a little bit more of a strong look to them. And then in the background, we can have some, light, airy, fairy cloth that looks all flowy and stuff. But, here in the front, in the foreground, she's standing all powerful, and there's rock and stone and pillars, and everything is a little power. And then in the background, there's some soft cloth and shit. I hope that makes sense. And I'll put some detail and some marble look on these, and I plan to have some a nice ornate base or something to the pillars. So I'll work on all of that for sure. All right. And then here is more cloth. No, thank you, Kylie. All right, and I do believe that, there are some, bits of the Witchblade that do kind of just start poking out and taking a life of their own. And I'll see how common that is in Witchblade, the comic, and then I'll try to see if it's something I should incorporate into here, or even I might just do it to add more motion and movement to the actual surroundings and help fill some of the space behind her head or something like that. But all of those things are to be determined once I start actually putting this piece on paper and getting it ready to do the final lines, which are going to be fun. All right, so in my mind, the floor is ending here because, you know, our line of sight is here, but I'm cutting the perspective so that there's a back room. And in that back room, maybe I'll put, I don't know, a big window behind it so she's backlit or something like that. I didn't want like tile going on for infinity or something. It would just be a little overkill. So I'm putting a door there, and maybe I could put a big window or like 2 windows on either side that just shine light through and give her nice rim lights. I'm thinking about that. Piglet's last stand. Just a second. Would you recommend starting by sketching pictures to train the hand and eye from the imagination? I would train the hand and eye first, get your coordination down. As you start, imagination is like a muscle. You can work at it. You can feed your imagination by looking at books and observing and thinking and all of that stuff, but what you need most of all is to get your hand-to-eye coordination down, because that's the main thing with art. And don't get discouraged, because art is very much something you gain through practice and lots of hours spent at the drawing board being frustrated, but it definitely, the practice is all that you need. Yay, Harv. I'm so glad you're happy. That's right, Kylie. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But, you know, I don't want to do everything in the center, so I might want to do a little bit of an offset situation with, like, you know, 1 window here and 1 window here or something, so that it's not all just 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 going all the way down. It's like one of those infinity mirrors. I don't want to do that. So I'm thinking maybe I'll put two windows in there. And honestly, it's literally just going to be the illusion of said windows, because there's curtain in the way. I don't really have to do a ton of detail in there, and hopefully it won't be overkill. So again, it's just one of those things that we're going to have to, like, I'm not making any promises that they will remain, because, you know, we've got to see if it's going to be any good or not, and how all of that is going to look. For now, let's just get this stuff in there, and I'm going to extend the base of the pillars and make them a little wider. Now, a big theme in Witchblade is they do have a lot of rose bushes. So I might, you know, throw some vine. I know it's not realistic, but I might throw some like vine on here and put some roses. I will see. Also, another idea is to actually not carry the background all the way to the edge of the page. Almost make it look like it disappears, so it goes sketchy on the edges. And that might look a little bit more like the sketchy artistic look that Harv would like. So I am thinking I will leave the edges diffused in a way, and kind of everything is not completely evenly in the square. All right, so now, in keeping with that whole idea, I'm gonna lightly sketch in the floor. And I'm not gonna have all of the tiles reaching everywhere and completing all of them, because honestly, I feel like it looks better when they don't. That's just my opinion. Pending talking with Harv, I think it looks better when not all tiles are completely finished. I think it's a little bit more clear. It looks like I need to wrap it. I need to finish the grid. I got a little overly excited, and I don't have all of my tile planning done. I have some of the lines, but not all of them. So I'm going to need to do that a little bit later on. There we go. But I believe it's enough for me to know where this is going, and I'm happy with it so far. So let's turn off that light. No, thank you, Harv. You were awesome. Let me just turn on this light again. Okay, so here we go. This is where it's at. I'm going to erase some of this so that we get that look of it not being complete to the edges, because I think that has a much better look to it than me trying to get everything all the way to the corners. This frames her so much better, I think. So there we go. And then I'll put some lights in the background, hopefully, or some windows. And I need to finish my perspective grid, so I won't be able to finish all of that right now, because it's dinner time for me. But guys, this has been a ton of fun. I'm so happy that I have it ready. If I can, I'm gonna hurry out to Michael's tonight so that I can get the papers that I'm gonna test to transfer this to board. But here she is. So this is Witchblade, Sarah Pizzini, in the stages of transferring completely into the Witchblade. And she's still wearing her gown in some places. I will hopefully be streaming again on Twitch on Sunday. I'll keep you all posted on Instagram and Facebook when I'll be starting. But fingers crossed, I would like to be working on this one and doing the final line art and inking at that time. Woot! It's going to be exciting. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. You rock a ton. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list because November is coming. You guys rock. Have a good one, and I will see you, or those of you who can make it, on Sunday. Lots of love to all of you. Have a good one. Bye.